There are many misunderstandings concerning the teaching of the rapture of the church these days. And here to discuss some of the misunderstandings and in particular an interpretation of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 is Dr. Andrew Woods. Andy Woods. I'll just call you Andy, okay?
In verse 3, let no one deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. Now that's in italics, which means that's been sort of added and to kind of smooth over the translation, but it's referring back to what was called the day of the Lord in the prior verse. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And it's this interesting phrase here, you're not in the day of the Lord because there hasn't been a falling away. And it's the Greek noun apostasia. And your typical interpretation of that these days is this is just talking about a spiritual departure. You know, the spiritual departure of the world to follow the Antichrist in the tribulation period.
That Greek word apostasia has been anglicized into our word apostasy. And so it'd be easy to kind of think of that in that way. That's what the Greek word says, and that's what the English word says, end of conversation.
End of conversation. And most Bible translations today, we can get into this a little later, but they translate it as some kind of spiritual departure. So a rebellion, a revolt. Some use the word apostasy. But the fact of the matter is and that's the only view I knew for many, many years. But upon further study, there's a whole different view of this. That the noun apostasia could mean not a spiritual departure, but an actual physical departure, i.e. the rapture. Now, the reason this is so significant is it says the falling away shall come first. It's that Greek word proton. And if this indeed is talking about the rapture of the church, Paul is very clear that the rapture of the church occurs first. And that settles the long-standing debate, doesn't it, that we've had for the last several centuries on when does the rapture happen relative to the 7-year tribulation.
This term falling away, translated from the Greek apostasia, is a fulcrum. It's a balancing point around which everything else sort of stands or falls. And you offer 10 reasons why that term falling away should be interpreted not as falling away, but as physical departure. It's talking about the physical departure of the church.
Right.
And you've studied Greek. And you understand it, and you understand the tradition of translation. So go from there.
Yeah. The apostasia is not talking about some kind of gradual event, but it's talking about something that happens at a specific point in time. And that would better fit the rapture than a gradual spiritual departure interpretation.
Good point. And I agree. It makes the case.
And if you go to the immediately preceding context, he says that, verse 1, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our what? Gathering unto him.
Yeah.
By the way, that Greek verb gathering is episunago, where we get the word synagogue. A Jewish gathering. And that's, what is our gathering to him? It must be the rapture of the church, which he's unfolded in the first letter, 1 Thessalonians 4.
A coming together.
Coming together, being caught up in the air, in the sky to meet the Lord. And so, therefore, in context, the whole context here is dealing with our gathering together with him. So when I see this word apostasia, I'm very comfortable applying a physical departure rather than a spiritual departure because I have contextual support to do that. So
A physical departure.
But if I'm understanding it right, this almost seals the deal for our side. There has to be a physical departure before the man of sin can ever be unveiled. So you're right, it does become a very big deal.
I think your presentation of the pre-trib rapture of the church is right up there at the top. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it, and it was good being here. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you again.
Good.
I'm Gary Stearman. Hey, you keep watching. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.